And we're out. You know what? I will go ahead and we'll break this in the after show for everyone. Oh, dude. Okay, so here's the thing.
No, if it's the thing you talk to me about, don't talk about it now.
Okay, all right. I won't talk about it now. There you go. So this is great because all three of us have a stake in the thing that's going to be announced. This is great. So I'll tell you what I'll do, actually.
Wait, this is the you thing, right?
The what?
The you thing. The thing that you called me about.
Yeah, but do you know?
Okay.
Do you know who secretly did 1/3 of the work on that thing?
1/3.
Oh.
Well, because there were 3 books. There were 3 elements.
All right. That's all you need to talk about.
All right. That's all I will say. There you go. There's that.
No, don't talk about that until you have it set like in lockdown.
Right. We are locking it down. But I don't think I told you Cargill did like 1/3 of the work on that. Like
That's awesome.
I did 2/3 of it and I was like, I don't have time to do the last third. And I was like, Cargill, you know how to do the thing that is necessary to do this thing. Would you like some money
This
to
is
do
another thing to show the guy in the place thing.
Yes, this is it.
We
Okay.
showed the guy the place, and I had a great time.
So it's like I was in the middle of doing.
I've never been to Belize.
I was in the middle of doing the thing, and I ran out of time, so I needed the guy to do more of the thing, so I could have the set. And so I called the guy, and I offered him the money to do the thing for the rest of the set, and then I got a set. It was amazing.
Good. Cargill. In all seriousness, though. So I'm coming to Austin for South by. I would love the opportunity to. I don't think I've ever met you in person, but I'd love the opportunity to.
Can we commit to this? That the 3 of us will sit down on Justin's dime
hell yes.
and have a steak.
No, we will do steak.
All right.
I don't care whatever day it is. We are doing steak.
Because I will fulfill my
someplace that serves
destiny.
steak and beer.
I will fulfill my destiny as Two Steak McGee, just not in the way that I had initially envisioned.
No, you thought you'd be eating, not buying, and that's fine.
So Two Steak
Ask
McGee,
him out.
that's the name of the show, this episode.
What?
That or something to do with glittery butthole.
Oh no, we can't give that away. We gotta save that for
You know
Is that the
what
Royal
the name
Rumble?
of the show is?
the
The
Royal
name of
Rumble.
the show is Dreams and Shadows.
You know what? Done.
Available February 28th.
You know what? This. By the way, the SEO thing works 2 ways, sir. So it's like we name, depending on how successful this is, we'll be very glad we're called Dreams and Shadows. We'll call it Dreams and Shadows with C. Robert Cargill. How about that?
I'm down with that.
And then all of your readers can listen to our adventures in glittery buttholes. All right, here we go.
All the readers of Dreams and Shadows by C. Robert Cargill.
Dude, how long ago did you get that book?
Like this they sent me 2 boxes of books last week, and so now I have my living room is exploded with books.
Yes, dude. Hey, real quick, how many books did they send you? Like quantity of books?
Don't know. I didn't count.
Okay, but I don't know how to say this.
Are you asking if there's a copy for you?
Well, no. I mean, I just assumed there was. What I want to know.
There is a copy here for you. Yes.
Yes, and I assume that would be the case. Specifically, what I wanted to know is what does 500 plus, maybe 600 copies of a hardcover book look like? How much space would that take?
Quite a bit. A box like yay big is like 24 copies. So 500 copies. That would, I guess, looking at
Storage facility big, like not in the...
Well, that's like 20 boxes. Yeah. Why did you order 500 copies?
I certainly couldn't admit to anything like that, since it would maybe. I mean, like hypothetically, if there were only 600 copies left of a certain book that suddenly became very
it's a
important.
garage.
All
It's
right.
some garage space.
Got a garage. I got a garage. I can fill a garage. I mean, not that anyone would, but if there was a reason somebody would max out a credit card to spend $12,000 to get the last 500 copies of a certain book that existed in the world. 'Cause maybe that's
Let's see here.
How many are in that? That's what I want to know.
That's this right here
Yep.
was 15 books.
So like that times 30. 30 of those? We can do 2. We can do 30 of those. That's doable.
By the way, check that out. Look at this.
What you
On
got,
Audible
son?
right now. Pre-ordering.
Oh,
Dreams
hells
and
yeah.
Shadows. Boop, complete purchase.
Yeah.
There you
Huzzah.
Go.
Okay,
You're
what-
like your friend Justin Robert Young. Go ahead and
to
pick
do the
up
same
your
thing.
All right, here we go. Dreams and Shadows. Here we go. This episode, what, 164? Is that correct? Holy crap, Justin. We've been doing this for a while.
You
I
have.
was
I
talking to
remember
a
being
friend of
on
mine
like
for this.
episode 30. Like, no, it's episode 29.
Dude, I believe it. All right, here we go. This is NSFW, episode 164, recorded on February 5th, 2013. Dreams and Shadows by C. Robert Cargill. Available now at Audible, Amazon, and a bookstore near you.
That's
That's
Hitler's Bunker,
Hitler's Bunker is where you'll find it.
which is a bookstore in Brooklyn. Named for Larry Hitler.
Yeah. Larry, don't call me that other guy, Hitler. That was his nickname. Larry, not the other one, Hitler.
Larry, wrong guy, Hitler. All right. Oh, yeah, we do the thing. On this episode of NSFW show, we're joined by C. Robert Cargill. Who's he? Well, shut your goddamn mouth. You should know by now. Man who wrote Sinister. The man who wrote Dreams and Shadows. Friend of this show. And if you catch me talking cross about him, I'm going to spit in your eye. And I don't know why I'm being so friendly about it, because he kicks the crap out of me because I'm an idiot for the entire episode. Want to see me get punched around like a tetherball? Stay tuned. The NSFW show.
We were both really good for being quiet for a little while there. And then it sort of broke down at the end.
Sorry.
We got sponsor reads. All right, let's rock them.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website, blog, or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use offer code NSFW2. And they recently launched a developer program for complete code control.
So take that, other stupid hosts.
Actually, I got to say that again because I said program instead of platform. Here we go. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website, blog, or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use offer code NSFW2. And they recently launched a developer platform for complete code control.
So eat crap, other platforms.
And audible.com. To download a free audio book of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/NSFW.
Or die.
Actually, Jammer B, are you listening?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that fine for the billboard? Or do I have to do the 30-second spot? That's good? I guess we just haven't done an Audible read in forever.
I don't know what's happening, man. I don't feel comfortable.
I think it's fine.
I'm aroused.
Oh, can we talk about South by?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the other thing. We've got unformed plans, which means officially none of this. Everything we're about to say is not official. But
None of this is real.
Let's go on a very brief flight of fancy. And you're welcome to keep this in the post show, which means it's on the record, but we're going to pretend it's not. It's called the illusion of the mind. Okay, here we go. Imagine, if you will, that we did an NSFW TWIT-related event at South by Southwest Interactive that took place on 6th Street at some kind of venue that was centrally located. Imagine if we had some kind of Go Game related activity that was a new yet unheard of derivation, still in beta, that we would be able to try first before anyone else. Up and down the streets of 6th. And then we came back to the venue and we heard the dulcet tones of our friends over at the Possum Posse rocking hits from their new album, Let's Ride, comma boys, the importance of commas, and followed up by an epic power hour from our friend, Ali Spagnola, who embodies everything that we love about NSFW, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, a little live NSFW with Justin Robert Young and Brian Brushwood. Imagine what used to be great of when Revision 3 would do these variety shows at Stubbs Barbecue, but scaled to a more manageable size so that you could be there for part of history. Now, imagine if we told you that none of this was booked and it was currently a fantasy in our minds, but we're pretty sure that some facsimile of it could be laid out in the next week or two.
Here's what's
Go ahead.
happened. Here's where we're at. All the interested parties.
Did you see in the chat room they're saying that you can book Mitt Romney really cheap right now?
Cheap. Ain't doing a whole lot.
I like Drew Powers. I'd rather have Black Herman Cain on there. Go ahead.
It's me, Black Hyman Kane. I don't know why you won't like to book me. Yeah. Every element of that has said, yes, they want to do it, and they are willing to do it. What we are lacking is a definitive venue because we don't want to pay for it.
Right. And as Justin and I were talking about, the problem is every single bar in Austin is currently counting on imaginary money. And every so often, imaginary money turns into real money. Imaginary money is when the phone rings and it's Dell saying, we need a 6th Street location to host our Selling Computers Awards, and we want to give you 10 grand. And so imaginary money is very good in your mind. And then when it turns into something, people don't want to give up imaginary money for real money. So if you want to say, well, we're offering real money, they'll usually ask for some kind of ridiculous amount. And numbers I've heard of included like a $2,500 guarantee or whatever. So the question is, the reason we got the venue that we got last year is because we waited almost literally to the last minute.
Well, Vincent Vorapor has been working very, very hard on this, and he has been really an amazing unsung hero behind the scenes in terms of coordinating everything. And he sent me and Brian and Allie an email and was like, hey, listen, how did you magically book this place last time? It's like, well, let me explain the magic. We got drunk on Tuesday and told Allie that she should fly down early. We met her on the internet. Like the way that many relationships start, we met a girl on the internet and we asked her to fly down in 3 days. She did, and it was the day before we were going to have the event that I called Peckerheads and was like, hey, what if we came in tomorrow and brought a bunch of people? Are you doing anything? And they were like, no, bring people.
That would be rad.
The problem is now we're like, hey, 3-4 weeks ahead of time, can we do it? And they're like, I don't know, man. What if Foursquare wants to pay us, $5,000 to have a Foursquare party where we all 4 squares in public? That would be awesome, and we can't compete with that. So what happened is we got in contact with a couple other people, including Marco, who is the Austin office for the Go Game, who came up with this new awesome idea for a hilariously awesome game, which, Cargo, we would love for you to be a part of it.
I'm not
It'd be
going
a
to
really
say
fun time.
we don't want to spoil the nature of the new game, but let me just say you would be uniquely qualified to participate in this Go game experience, which is basically. Do you remember that?
It essentially requires you to have an abnormally large penis.
Yes, the biggest dong is what makes you the winner in this.
All right, fine. It's jump rope.
It's dick jump rope.
You know what? I'm down for that game. I'm pretty good at winning that game.
In fact, I believe Cargill almost.
Dutch.
I believe Cargill almost joined us last year, but had a last-minute scheduling conflict.
Yeah, I think the last-minute scheduling conflict was my the world premiere of my movie.
Yeah, see, that's always with the excuses. This one, that Cargill. I'm sorry, I can't play the Go game. I'm seeing my life's work come onto the silver screen.
You know, I never got to finish that story. I was telling you that story earlier, and I did not get to the South by Southwest adventure. You were asking me about how what it was like and having all your friends kind of see this thing.
Oh, finish it now. Go ahead.
I was going to finish it up because it involves two mutual friends of ours.
Go on.
My favorite story of that night, the thing that kind of cemented everything for me, was, the audience fills up, and half the audience are people I know and I've known for years, and I'm terrified. We're all nervous as hell, and I'm just, here's half the people I know all watching my movie all at once, and these are people who are known for being honest and who are going to tell me if it sucks. And they sit, and then Martin Thomas and Jason Murphy sit down together, and they look at each other and they're like, "Oh God, here it goes. What do we do? What if we do if this is terrible?" And Jason is like, "I don't know, man. We'll see." And so they're watching it, and about a third of the way through, Jason Murphy leans over to Martin and says, "Oh my God, this is really happening, isn't it? This is actually good." And Martin's like, "I know." And that was the moment that it was they told me Murphy told me that story afterwards, and that hearing that story, that's the moment that it was all really real for me, when my friends were like, "Oh my God, this isn't just our buddy made a movie, this is an actual movie, and we're actually enjoying it." And that's how did this happen? And that was kind of the line of demarcation for me.
So there's nothing I could say in public that I want to respond to that with. Outside of there's so many things I want to say. I can't say any of them, but I would imagine that's amazing. And those are two very good reviewers whose opinions I definitely respect. And that must have been a nice moment for you to know that you defeated them.
Well, not defeated them, just that
they're
really
mini boss. At that moment, they cease to be your friends. They become mini bosses, and your art defeated them. They got hit in the center spot 5 times, and then
It's just nice to know you don't suck. That's the win is knowing that you don't suck. Because that whole time, you know what that is.
I
There's
aspired
that
at that moment.
Yeah, you know what that's like, Brian. You got that fear that the trick isn't going to work, that people aren't going to dig it, that it's not going to entertain them. You go out and do it, and you get the uproarious cheer. They're like, "Oh my God, it was so great!" And all you think is, you don't think I'm the man. You think, "Oh, thank God, I don't suck."
No, 100%, 100%.
That's what it was. It was, "Oh God, I don't suck." That's so great.
Absolutely. People in the chat room were asking if they would need a South by Southwest badge. No. In fact, badges are for suckers. They're for idiots who are having other people pay the bills.
That is not the correct answer, Brian. What is the correct answer?
You need to buy Brian badges. They're only $20.
The answer is badges.
Ah!
You don't need no stinking badges.
Touche, sir. Well played. But look, I wonder if we should start... I think we should start up the hype machine, like even if the venue is in a field somewhere. We're going to do some event with these people, right?
Go game's happening. Allie's coming down. Possum Posse wants to play. We're having a goddamn barn party. Everyone's welcome to throw moonshine on each other and laugh.
Possum Posse's amazing. They're going to be so huge. And
Let me just say, because that album's out now, right? The Possum Posse album, is that officially out?
I don't know. I'm going to go
I got sent it early, and I didn't know when to promote it being out.
Well, like I've been playing the hell out of it on the live stream. Here, I'll play a little bit of
I've
it.
opened as soon as it came out, the All Right by Mine, which they played first time I think it was ever recorded was on our after show.
Probably.
What's it called? Has been the opening theme song of the Jury Talks podcast.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, for months.
So good, man. They're so talented.
Oh no, they're the best.
What was it you said? What was it you said before? Like the great thing about them is that they're not even like they do being funny very, very well, but then they can choose to not be funny, and it's just really good music.
Well, it's hard. It's just hard to do that. When you're known for being one thing, the absence of that thing is hard to justify to people. And so, like, if you're known for being funny, it's hard to say, now I'm not the funny guy. Now I'm another thing. And
Yeah.
especially with comedy, when people build expectations for that emotion, it's hard to tell them that they're not going to get it. And they do it, I think, personally. But then I'm also a sucker for this kind of music. Like, I love that kind of, like, country music. So.
Well, and it's like I love bluegrassy, not just bluegrass, but like bluegrassy kind of music. As long as it's
that you would jump a car to while being chased by the police.
yeah, yes. while you're shucking moonshine across the county line, of course, right?
Come on, Roscoe, let's get them Duke boys.
Yeah, I love it. So the album is called "Let's Ride, Boys," with the subtitle of the importance of
yeah,
commas.
the importance of commas.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Possum Posse is amazing. Let me just say this, hypothetically.
And by the way, for those of you who don't know, these are the Guy in the Buffalo guys.
Guy on the Buffalo, which crazy enough, they don't put any kind of Guy on a Buffalo anything on this album. They're all like, that's a thing we did. We're not gonna rock that, and we're not gonna play into that at all.
So there we go.
I thought you were going to pick that up, but I guess that's going nowhere. Let me just say this. If you're planning to come to Austin to participate in South by So Wasted 2, which, let's just go ahead and ramp things up here. South by So Wasted 2, then maybe, just
Did
maybe.
you see what Squarespace just put out?
What did Squarespace just put out?
They replied Tom and just said click clack.
Did everybody lie and tell them that it was a Tech News Today thing? That's amazing! Woo! Dude, I'm just saying, why don't you start listening to this album now? Because it's gonna rock to watch these guys live.
What was that?
What's that, Cargill?
I said, you know what this album would be really good for?
What?
Listening to while reading Dreams and Shadows.
Here, let's try it. Why don't you read to us from it?
By C. Robert Cargill.
Just read us some. Read us some while we listen to it. Okay, can we get an exclusive? Just give us one line exclusive. Can we say exclusive reading from C. Robert Cargill on Dreams and Shadows?
Yeah, actually. Give me a moment. You guys go and do another one of your cute little bits.
All right, here we go. Just saying, man. Oh, you know what? As long as we're talking about crazy crap where we'll pretend to be rock stars for a moment. I got approached by a certain somebody who does a certain thing in a certain state that hosts a certain religion and also certain ski areas.
Oh, yes.
And a certain person in a certain state who does a certain event with certain religions suggested that maybe we'd still be interested in showing up at this certain event whenever this certain thing is. And he might have details for us. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. Yeah, the details, I believe, are out publicly.
Well, I'm sure everything's public to someone.
Of course. No, I'm in. I actually, what's it called? Fun fact, I missed my morning stream appearance today because I was working, and then I realized that I could come on at the very, very end, and I literally called in after after the final song was playing, and I was going to come on for like a surprise sneak attack segment, and then his internet crapped out.
That's a weird story. Why would you tell that specific story? I was telling a generic story, but you told a very specific one. It's very odd to me.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're very proud to present NSFW's exclusive presentation. World exclusive right now here on NSFW, the new show full of wind, new sauce for the webernets. We're, of course, here with C. Robert Cargill, author of Dreams and Shadows, also the writer of the Hollywood blockbuster Sinister, who's going to give us an exclusive reading from the book. Take it away, Cargill.
Chapter 37, Second Street Predators. Simon Sparks was an oozing slug of a man poured neatly into a three-piece suit. Well-dressed and impeccably coiffed, he was like cheap scotch, just refined enough to seem classy to anyone who didn't know better. Mid-30s, condo, job in finance, a sleek car that could be started by remote, a band of pale flesh around his left ring finger, and a gold ring tucked neatly into his right front pocket. Simon had a theory about women, and if you knew him well enough that he both trusted you and wanted to impress you, he would lay it all out. They're all broken, he would say. Every last one of them. Oh, it's not their fault. It's not biological either. I'm no sexist. It's societal. We do it to them. We break them down, bit by bit, year by year, with magazines and commercials and movies starring big-breasted bimbos who can barely get a line out of their mouths before spilling out of their dresses. Women look around them, see a media full of undeniably and unattainably beautiful women, and then they look in the mirror and see a collection of flaws too numerous to name. Then he would take a drink. He would always drink right there to let it sink in.
Best episode ever. Thank you very much, Cargill. I love you, Justin Robert Young. Take care, beautiful people. Enjoy the after show. Yeehaw! South by Southwest.
Well, we got an invitation to some sort of show. She said, get off your fat one, cause it starts in an hour. And I was just sitting by the TV when she cut the power. Now, how am I gonna find out what happened to Jack Bauer? I ain't going nowhere. Then she looked me up, and I was totally down. I said, you can be the queen, honey, just bring me the crown. Well, I'm gonna hop on the microphone, maybe try to raise a toast.
Oh my God! Too much wind, dude. That was freaking great. Let me throw us in the 3-spotter here. Boo, whip, boo, whip.
Actually, Brian, I gotta go because I gotta pack
you
up
do.
for a flight tomorrow.
Why wouldn't you? That's busier. Busier. Are you out, Cargill?
I could stick around for a little while, yeah.
All right, here. Let me do this. I'm gonna throw this on.
I
here.
do enjoy a little afterglow.
Yeah,
after show.
enjoy a little cuddle and bundle at the end of the evening. All right, let me stop this, and I'm going to save it as a... Let me run it over here. 164? Is that really what episode we're on? This is amazing.
It seems so amazing, and I was like, wow, the numbers keep getting so big, and it's like, yeah, you haven't had me on the show for over a year. What are you gonna...
I feel bad about that. It's the problem is early on, like week over week, we're all, of course, early on, like just like we need awesome people on the show all the time, and then like we have 50 people on, of them 30 are awesome, and then we've got like 30 awesome people that we got to figure out how to get on the show week after week. This is 164, is that right? 164, Cargill. Let me go ahead and punch this in there, pop this in, and 130205, Cargill.
Well, but thank you for having me on.
Dude, and thank you for being flexible. I'm sorry for bumping you last week. We just knew that our friend Allie had like a time-sensitive thing, so thanks for being cool with that.
And thanks for emailing me to let me know that I was getting bumped.
Did I not? That sounds like something I would have forgotten to do. Hey, look.
That was something you forgot
all
to
right.
do.
Well, your job was...
you know what? I'm so glad because I was like, oh my God, did I forget to show up for the show? Did I? What? Did he was like, where's Cargill? Oh, well, we'll have to call somebody last minute to replace him. He's too important to come on our show.
No, dude,
Hey, dude,
I
can
knew...
you come on this week? I'm like, yes.
I knew you would be cool with whatever. But, dude, can I tell you something, like, honestly? Like, one of the things I really dig about our friendship is is there's a lot of people you encounter at different times, right? And some of them you feel a kinship together, and then you separate for whatever reason. But it's like every so often you have a situation where you have a moment together where you feel like you're offering some insight that matters to someone else. And most of the time you never get to see where that goes or what happens with it. But it's like, I think all the time, what party was it that we had this conversation that you know is the one I'm thinking of, where we were talking about?
It wasn't a party. I was doing the Real Deal.
Yeah.
And with all the guys that I went on to do Spill with. And every week after we would do the show, it's a show just like this. It was Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. And we would end at 11. We would clean up. We'd head over to Opal Divine's.
Yep.
And we'd sit around and drink for 2.5 hours.
Okay. The night I'm thinking of was definitely at a wedding, and it definitely wasn't at Opal Divine's. It was the night where you told me you actually took my advice and quit your day job.
Oh. You're talking about the moment that I told you.
Yes, that's the moment that registered with me. But apparently what registered with you...
That was probably Chris Cox's
No, it was
wedding.
Adam Sears' wedding party or some kind of... It was related to Adam Sears' wedding, I'm almost certain.
Oh, yes, I know which party you're talking about now. Yeah, no, it was his... Yeah, his big to-do.
Yeah, okay, but apparently that's not the moment that registered in your mind, because I want to hear about this. It was at Opal Divine's Free House, right?
Yeah, it was at Opal Divine's. This was the night that you gave me the advice.
Yes, okay, tell me about it.
Well, essentially, you and I were sitting around drinking. We had just met a few times before that, but we didn't really know each other very well. And you and I were having a conversation. And I was talking about being a film critic, and you were talking about being a magician, and you hadn't quite hit big yet. You were still going around. It was just at the beginning of your college touring days.
Yes.
And you were making a living as a magician,
which I was thrilled. Like, that alone was a prize. And by the way, how great would it be if, like, 20 years from now, you and I are sitting on like some giant high-rise sipping saccharin tea laced with methamphetamines as we like, remember back when you were a magician and I was a film critic?
Well, when did we get into a Philip K. Dick novel?
I don't know. I had to
We're sitting in a cyberpunk high-rise drinking mescaline tea and cursing Nixon. You know,
yes, exactly.
Where did our lives go? I'm kind of like, I remember when I used to wear a hoodie and hang out on your podcast.
And then Brian casually removed his brain and replaced it with his spare just for this kind of discussion.
So we were sitting around and we were talking, and I was like, oh man, it must be great to do what you love to do for a living. You know, I'd love to do that because I was still working in the video store and reviewing movies, and that's when you gave me, you know, your famous advice.
What do you remember of that? Because almost more important than what you say at a time is what people hear, and I would love to hear the way you heard it.
Well, at the time, there were like 2 books that you were trying to get me to go read.
Probably.
And this was back in your era when you would be reading books all the time.
Physical books. That's before Audible.com, the fine sponsors who made possible my new brain.
You discovered that you didn't have to read books; you could listen to them instead.
Absolutely.
You ended up. You were telling me about these books, and we were talking, and I was like, "How did you do it? You know, how do you become a magician?" Because what I remember is I remember you like 5 minutes into the conversation after us talking about it going, thank you for not asking me to do a trick. And like, why? That's your job.
Yes.
Why would I ask you to do your job at a bar? It's like, because everybody does it. They're like, ooh, show me a trick. It's like, I know what it's like. Because as a film critic, it's like, oh, you're a film critic.
Tell me what you think of this.
Did you see this movie?
Yes.
Tell me what you thought about it. And it's like, oh, now I'm at work again. That's awesome.
Nobody does that with any other job. Nobody's just like, oh, you're an accountant. Do my taxes. Just once. I've always wanted to see my taxes done. Do my taxes. Come on, it'll be fun.
And it comes with an extra problem that you probably never talk about, which is when you go to parties with your wife and you come home and your wife's like, everyone thinks I'm boring and everyone wants to talk to you about your job.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a side effect of that. Luckily, though, the trick apparently is to have a podcast where all you do is talk about how great your wife is, so that when your wife appears at an event, all anybody wants to do is actually see her and talk about how Brian talks about how great she is.
Yes, you must talk up the wife, although it helps to have a wife worth talking up, so that when you later admit to talking her up, it doesn't sound like you are just talking her up for no reason whatsoever.
That's true.
So I need to help dig you out of some water right now.
Thank you.
Get you.
Cattle Humper in the chat room points out that that if you tell people you're a martial artist, you run into this as well. Man, this is crazy. Other job, IT. Oh, you know computers? Well, I've got this problem with my computer.
Yeah, I hear doctors get that problem a lot, actually.
Oh,
it's
my
like,
God.
oh, well, I have this pain right here. And so, yeah. But so,
Okay, yeah, so what did you hear that night?
Well, what you had told me specifically is you're like, oh, well, here's how I did it. Me and Bonnie sat down and talked about it, and Bonnie said, okay, I'll give you 1 year. You get 1 year to go and do this. I will work my ass off this year.
Keep the lights on.
You take the year off, and you go and be a magician.
Yep.
And if at the end of the year you're not making money, then you go, you buy a suit and tie, and you go and you get an office job, and magician becomes your hobby.
Yep.
However, if you're making enough money to justify working, then I'll give you another year, and we'll see if you can actually do it consistently. And the first year worked, and you were making money, and by the end of the second year, she was able to quit her job because you were making enough money to move on.
Correct, yeah.
And you said, this is what you and your wife, Jessica, need to do. And so Jess and I talked about it, and we sat on that for about a year. And I was really hating my job. I got transferred to another store. I was working for just an evil tyrant of a store manager. I didn't even want to work there, but she needed help. And they're like, we have this guy. He really knows movies. He's great with customers. And I'm like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be working here. And so much so that I got transferred. I got myself transferred over to Game Crazy, working with video games for the season. And I'm like, look, I just don't want to do this. Can we do this? Can we take Brian Brushwood's advice and do this for a year? And my wife was like, yes, you get 1 year. I will support us for 1 year, and you need to make a go of it. And
as best you could figure, looking back on it, do you think what she was saying is, yes, I believe in you, fly free? Or do you think maybe part of her, not that she would ever say it in public now, but do you think maybe she was partly saying, let's get this out of your system so we can finally get somewhere?
No, she believed it. She's been supportive of my writing from the beginning, and has always pushed me to continue pushing myself harder. So no, she's been nothing but supportive. She gambled big, and ultimately it ended up paying off, because what happened was we took your advice. By May, my primary site, Ain't It Cool News, had started paying me. In July, I got poached by Film.com. I had pushed Corey into starting up Spill.com. I harassed him and just harangued him for like 9 months, saying, dude, we need to do this animated thing. We need to do what we're doing as an animated.
Well, because I know, like, when I first fell in love with that gang, they were all doing live action reviews as the real deal. And right as I was getting really heavy into touring and being on the road, I know that they were testing out animated stuff still on local cable access. But then it was right around the time that I watched Scam School.
Corey was trying to put it on cable access, and I'm like, do that, to test it out with folks.
Sure.
But really, you gotta take it online. Yeah. And it's like, how do we take it online? And we tried explaining things like YouTube to him, which had just shown up. And he, in fact, Chris Cox and I, Cyrus, give him a hard time every once in a while. When we want to bust his balls, we kind of look at each other and go, remember that conversation we had with Corey when we said we got to put stuff up on YouTube? And he goes, YouTube? Nobody's heard of YouTube. Everybody's going to iTunes, and iTunes is the big thing, not YouTube.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, there was a time that was the sensible thing. And in fact, it was around that same time after Scam School launched, I remember pitching Spill.com to Revision 3. I said, what you guys want is shows, because at the time, all they cared about, whatever company owned Spill.com at the time, all they cared about was banner ads. Like they had no embedded sponsors. There was no this episode brought to you by or any of that stuff. I don't know if there still is or not, but like they're like, we just want traffic on the site. I was like, well, if that's all you care about, then you belong with Revision 3, and Revision 3 can get sponsors. So all of a sudden you're monetizing all of these views because you're getting crazy views, and it'll monetize what you do on YouTube and so on. And I worked uphill with Corey to promote the idea, and then I picked an episode, and I believe it was the Speed Racer episode was the one I forwarded over to with you in it to the folks over at Revision 3, and if I remember correctly, Martin Sargent thought you guys were hilarious and would be a good fit, and that there should be an animated movie review show on Revision 3. But the story I heard was that Jim Louderback just didn't get it. And so, and then that died on the vine right there. And so, flip side, you guys, and eventually Spill.com on their own, goes on to be hugely popular with their own convention and everything. And is the news about what Spill.com is up to public yet? I don't know what's public and what's not.
I have no idea. I get invited to it, and I've never been included on the conversation. Even when I was there and we were doing Spill.con, I didn't know what was going on. And Corey was just like, "Yeah, man, we're doing Spill.con next weekend, and you need to show up to this, and this. We'll have a badge for you."
Okay, well,
he never ever told me.
There is something.
I have no idea. I've heard of rumors about what's going on with Spill.com this year. I don't know if it's public or not.
Suffice it to say, I've heard that something will be different this year at Spill.com. And I think, apparently it is public if I look at the chat room right now.
And honestly, I think it's going in a great direction.
Well,
I think that's a really it's a great thing. It's something that we talked about early on and that I was pushing for to do something similar to this, and it went off into its own direction, and now it's going in a way that I think is very cool.
Well, let me just say this, that I should be having lunch with someone next week, and I think what Spill.com is doing is rad. And I think a TWIT-related event, maybe like an NSFW-related event, maybe could benefit from joining the same club. I think that might be a good thing to do in the middle of the summer. Just saying. Just saying that might be cool. So there's that. All right, dude, this thing's rendered. I think we're wrapped up, man.
Well, thank you for having me, dude. This has been so much fun.
Cargill, you're awesome.
Seriously, you gotta have me back sometime sooner than last time, and not because I have anything to promote, just because you and I don't get to hang out.
I know. Okay, hang out. Here's the trade-off: is I will ask you less than 24 hours before the show, but in exchange, you should come here physically, and we can hang out in person. How about that? So that we can turn off the cameras.
See, I would have done that this week, but you asked me on yesterday, and I had promised a buddy that I'd meet him at midnight for coffee.
That's fine. Look, I understand real life happens.
I want to go hang out because I want to sit in a room with you and have beer and talk.
Freaking, oh wow, I almost cursed again.
I want to see Bonnie. Since the last time I saw Bonnie, an entire human being has come out of her.
Yeah, maybe two human beings. It feels like forever.
No. I've seen her. I have been to your place when you've had two.
Okay, there we go. Okay, good. That's right.
I've seen Bonnie sometime in the last few years.
All right.
But I have not seen her since she has had a whole human. You have put material into her, and a whole human being has come out.
My seed is taking root. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, look, we're going to cut everyone loose over at Twit. I'm going to shut off the Twit feed. Thank you very much, Jammer B, for hanging with us. Thank you, Tony Wang, for the editing. You guys are fantastic. Thank you, chat room.
Our pleasure as always.
I will chat with you guys later on. Bye. All right, so we're off on Twit, and now we're still live on Justin.tv, so I'm going to stop this. Rip.